Hi guys, it's Lara. Thanks for watching and welcome back to my channel. A few days ago was Earth Day, a celebration of this wonderful, beautiful planet we live on. But let's be honest, our planet is not doing really great and we all have to change our ways, otherwise long term we're screwed. And I thought it would be a great opportunity to sit down and discuss with you a few possibilities of how to reduce waste. Now, obviously, one step that everyone can do and that will have a huge impact on our planet is to switch to plant-based diet, or at least to incorporate as much plant-based food as possible. I think it's like 51% of greenhouse gases come from animal agriculture, but reducing waste is just as important. So if you want to discuss with me a few ways how to do that, then please keep watching. Before we start, let's be clear, I don't think I'm perfect. I still have myself a way to go and I still have so much to learn. I'm just here to discuss. I'm definitely not judging anyone. And then I also wanted to say that I'm gonna list down below also all the steps that we are going to discuss today, and I will add the timestamps. And since I'm gonna mention a couple of tutorials on my DIY channel, you will also find them linked down below. And now let's jump right into it. One of the easiest ways how to reduce waste is to always bring your own shopping bag to a store. So I have this fabric shopping bag I bought years ago. It even says vegan. And I always fold it and put it into my backpack or purse or whatever I'm carrying that day. So I have always this bag with me. And I'm also carrying small nets that have this cord on the side that I can close. And I'm using these for vegetables. I bought these in the supermarket where I like shopping, and they are made of biologically degradable materials. If there is nothing like that in your area, you can always use the same net for vegetables that you would use for socks or bras when you do your laundry. I also have a shopping bag with wheels, which is very convenient whenever I'm buying something heavy or a bigger amount of stuff. And then when I'm in store, I'm trying to pick the options that are either not packed or that are packed in as little packaging as possible. The sad part is sometimes it's not always possible because sometimes you just don't have the choice because everything's packed. And I also understand that for some people it's more a question of their budget, because sometimes the things that are not packed will be more expensive. So I totally understand why some people have to pick the things that are packed because they simply can't afford to pick the stuff that is not packed because they would pay twice as much. So that's kind of sad, but that's just the reality. So I'm always trying not to judge people because we have to understand we all have to pay our bills, and even with the best intentions, it's not always possible. It's always great to buy stuff regionally. Not only you are supporting local businesses, but also it reduces the ecological impact on our environment because the stuff doesn't have to be transported as far as when it comes from another continent. So whenever I go shopping, let's say I want to buy tomatoes, I make sure that I buy tomatoes from Austria. I live in Austria, so for me that's regionally. There are some things I cannot buy regionally, for example, bananas. But for the stuff that grows here or that's being produced here, I'm always trying to pick that option that's coming from the country where I live. Again, that's a thing where some people will struggle a lot because of their budget. So I understand, but whenever you have the possibility, instead of ordering something and you can buy it in a local store, it's a great step, because with delivery, it's not only the cost that you would have to pay for the delivery, but it's also the ecological impact because of the transport and also the packaging. Whenever I buy something online, it usually comes wrapped in a big cardboard box, and then there is usually bubble wrap or some like plastic wrap. Although I have to say I've seen recently a change there, which is wonderful. I don't remember what it was that I bought, but it came in a box, and instead of bubble wrap or these plastic bags filled with air, they had paper bags that were filled with cut cardboard. So basically they took old boxes and chopped them in little pieces and filled these paper bags with it, and that served them as padding. So I think the world is changing there. But again, if I have the choice, if I can buy something regionally that is not packed, that I just simply take with me home without a box and without bubble wrap, then it's certainly the better choice than ordering it online. Of course, sometimes even when you buy something regionally, it's gonna be packed. But I think in that case, what we all should do is to let the companies know that they should reduce the packaging, especially for toys. It's ridiculous how much plastic and packaging goes into the production of toys. And I think if everyone would write an email to the company and tell them, hey, I really like your products, but the packaging is ridiculous, you should reduce that, maybe they would make a change. Another possibility how to reduce waste is to cook as much from scratch as possible. Let's say instead of buying a pasta sauce, you could make your pasta sauce from scratch. Obviously, there's going to be still some packaging involved because the ingredients will come packed, but it is going to be probably, or actually very likely, way less packaging than for the single portion of pasta sauce. And that goes also for example, beans. I personally love canned beans because it's very convenient, but to be honest, I could do better. So recently I've been kicking my butt and I've been buying bags of beans. And since I already plan my meals anyway, it's practically very easy for me to just soak the beans overnight and cook them in the morning when I exercise or when I'm getting ready, because it doesn't take that long. And it's also kind of more natural, it's fresher, it tastes great, and it actually costs less and it reduces waste. But again, I understand some people are working crazy hours, so they will not be able to cook everything from scratch all the time. But I think whenever the possibility is there, it is definitely a great thing to do. This one is pretty obvious, and in my opinion, there is no excuse for not doing it. Recycle. Every area has recycle bins, and it's just so easy to do that. So we have a drawer in our kitchen where we have separate bags, and we always separate metal, glass, and plastic. And we also have an own trash can for paper, and it's just so easy. In addition to that, we have organic trash containers in our house, and that's wonderful because the biggest amount of our waste of the week is organic trash. We actually use only one plastic bag for the regular trash, and that lasts for at least a week in our home, and the rest is all recycle or organic trash. So I think this is something everyone really should do. There is no excuse for that whatsoever. Even if you have to walk further, it's just so easy, and I just don't understand why some people don't do that. Moving on to fashion and other objects. Let's start with fashion. We all know how horrible fast fashion for the environment is. There's an easy way how to change it. We don't have to follow trends blindly. We don't have to listen to some dork in a fashion magazine who dictates what to wear, what season. We can simply make our own style and wear the things we really love, which is also gonna be great for our wallet. And another thing is we don't have to buy new stuff. There are thrift shops. And also, instead of throwing the stuff away, we can donate stuff or sell it or swap clothes. I personally love making my own clothes, or I like giving my old stuff a makeover. I have tons of videos about that on my DIY channel, so I will link a few down below, and in general, just my DIY channel. Even with the new clothes that I'm making for myself, yes, I am using a new fabric, but at least I'm not contributing to the overproduction, because usually at the end of each season there's gonna be a ton of things that will be thrown away because people didn't buy everything. So it's still a better way than buying new stuff from a sweatshop. And when it comes to other objects, you don't have to buy new furniture, you don't have to buy new decor. There are so many thrift shops that sell also furniture and decor and household goods like cutlery and dishes and stuff like that. I personally am a huge fan of mason jars. You have seen me drinking of a mason jar so many times. I always use this big one, so I could recycle that, that's true, but I just like using it. And I have, like behind me, there's a little lantern made of mason jar, and there are some other ideas. Again, there are so many tutorials on my DIY channel, so I will link them down below. Another thing where I feel like there is no excuse for not doing it is all the beverages and things to go can be easily put into your own jars or bottles or cups. So I have here this cup to go that's insulated, so it's gonna keep the beverage either warm or cold. I'm using this for a tea to go, and it was not really expensive, and I've had this for, let me think, at least 7 or 8 years, and it's just such a wonderful thing. Then I have here this plastic protein shake cup, but I'm using this for my smoothie when I go to my ballet classes in the morning, because I usually finish my smoothie on the way. And on my way home, sometimes I feel like buying a juice from a store that sells smoothies and juices, and so I wash it out before I go there and have them pour the juice into this instead of giving me a plastic cup to go. And I have this water bottle that I love so much. It has even a wonderful motif. There are also aluminum bottles and bottles made of different materials. So this is something where I feel like we should all kick our butts and purchase these things, because you buy it once, but it's just so easy to take this with you, and it makes a huge difference in the amount of waste we produce. Of course, sometimes there are situations where you were not planning on buying something to go. It just happens when you travel or when you had a meeting and it took longer. So obviously there will be exceptions, and I'm not judging anyone for that. But I feel like this is something, because it's so easy and so available, we should really kind of be a little bit harder on ourselves, myself included. To my pleasure, they banned plastic straws from restaurants here, so the restaurants have to use paper straws. We stopped using plastic straws years ago at home, and instead of that we have these steel straws. I think we bought them on Amazon, I'm not sure, but I will look into my Amazon history, and if I find them I will link them down below. You can also buy glass straws. And also one thing that I feel like some people maybe do not think about it that much, but I like using a napkin after having my meal. But instead of buying paper napkins, years ago we purchased these cloth napkins. I bought these at IKEA. They were not expensive, and they're just wonderful and reusable, and again, it saves so much waste. Moving on to beauty and care. So I have here this makeup removal cloth. This is such a wonderful thing. You don't even need a makeup removal with this. All you have to do is to soak this into warm water, and then you can remove easily any makeup. Even back in the day when I was still wearing eyeshadows and foundation and powder, I could remove everything just with this cloth. I have 2 of these, so I can easily swap them during the week. Then I have here these reusable pads. These are made of bamboo, but if you prefer cotton, you can easily find reusable cotton pads. The only thing I don't like about these is the diameter. I find them a little bit too big. They don't exactly fit into my dispenser that I have in the bathroom, but that's kind of a first world problem, isn't it? So I bought a stack of these that came in this net. I always hang this net into our laundry room, and whenever I use one of them, then I would throw it into the net. And then when I'm doing laundry, anything light, I would simply soak them for maybe an hour in a little bit of laundry detergent, and then I would put them back in the bag in this little net and put them in the washing machine. And yeah, I love them. I'm still using cotton swabs in order to clean my ears, but there is a possibility how to reduce the amount of the cotton swabs that you use, and that would be this little thing. I'm gonna go a bit closer. It's called auriculi. It's made of bamboo, and it looks like this little spoon, and you can clean your ears with it. Now, I have to be honest, I don't like using this, so I kind of use this back and forth, and then I went back to cotton swabs. But whenever I'm using cotton swabs, whenever I'm buying them, I make sure that they are not made of plastic. Nowadays, tons of brands produce cotton swabs with a little paper stick in the middle, which is way more environmentally friendly. A few years ago, we switched to bamboo toothbrushes. This is such a wonderful thing. So this entire toothbrush is made of bamboo, even the bristles. So it's 100% biodegradable. It's such a wonderful thing. They came in a box like this. This is made of cardboard. And there are always 4 of these, and honestly they last even way longer than the electric toothbrush that we used to have. And whenever there is time to switch them, I simply throw them in the organic trash, and that's it. Since we're talking about hygiene, I have here also my menstruation cup. Now I will film a separate video about my experience with menstruation cups, so I'm not gonna go into details, but that definitely reduces waste, and it's also healthier for your vajayjay. And then I have here my razor. Years ago I bought this steel razor, and the only thing I have to replace are the blades and I can recycle them because they are made of metal. I think I paid like 38 euros. You can pay, of course, a bit less or maybe a little bit more. And it was only one-time investment, and the razor blades, they cost literally nothing. And I have to say that the razor blades last also so much longer than in the one-way razors. The quality is so much better. So this has been a great investment, and at the same time, it saved so much waste. Let's stay in the bathroom. It is also very easy to reduce waste in our day-to-day products. For example, instead of using a shower gel that comes in a plastic bottle, you could use soap. This is something I've been using for so many years. I do still purchase sometimes the Treacle Moon shower gels because I just love them, but we are mainly using a soap. I love the soaps from Lush, but there are also some brands that are local that I like buying. The only thing that matters for me is that they are vegan and that there is no harsh chemicals in them. We're also using a soap for our facial wash, and there are also solid shampoos. My favorite solid shampoo comes from Lush, and the great thing about the products from Lush is that they come in paper instead of some plastic wrappings, but they are not the only brand that sells stuff in paper. So if you Google or if you look in your local stores, I'm pretty sure you're gonna find something in that area, and that's also very easy. And I personally also love having solid products so much because they are so much easier when you travel. You don't have to worry about spilling, and they are also so much lighter. So overall, even your suitcase or whatever luggage you were carrying with you is gonna be a little bit lighter. You can also make your own cosmetics, which will long-term also reduce waste. Sure, first you will have to buy the ingredients, and some of them will be probably not available in your local store, so you will probably have to order at least a few of them. But long-term, it's definitely gonna be a great solution. So I started making our own deodorants a while ago, and recently I discovered a new recipe and I refined it to my liking, and I love it so much. And ever since I started making that one, we stopped using anything else, Jack and I. So first I started putting it into these little cases that I bought online. They are made of plastic, but then I had the idea to pour it into a little silicone form that I use for baking and use it just as a solid piece without packaging, and it works. So I have here the new version, and I'm storing it in a little glass jar, and it works just as fine. So this is wonderful, and it smells so great. I used a little bit of mint, rosemary, and lemon oil. It's just heavenly, and it works great. It's honestly for me the best deodorant I have ever used. So I will link the tutorial down below, and I also have a tutorial for several other versions for deodorants on my DIY channel, so I will link that one also down below. And then I started making our own lip balm. So again, first I bought these little cases because it was the easiest way how to do it, and they are again made of plastic. But then I realized I don't have to put this into a plastic tube. I could actually use either little glass jars or these little metal jars. These are, for example, 2 solid perfumes, but it would work just as fine for a lip balm. So this is what I'm gonna do in future. One thing we all have to do regularly is to wash our laundry, and that's an area where we can easily reduce waste and also the amount of harsh chemicals that we're using. So I have here a bag of soap nuts, which is my favorite way to wash laundry. So this is 1 kilo and it's good for up to 200 washes. There was a small cotton bag inside of the packaging, and that's the thing that you have to fill with a couple of soap nuts. So I always make it full and then I throw it directly into the washing machine. You will not need any fabric softener with these because the laundry is afterwards wonderfully soft. The only thing that I like adding into my washing machine for each wash is at least a spoon of vinegar, because the water we have here is quite hard, and that's it. It took a while to get used to it because I was used to using perfumed laundry detergents, and it was weird because now suddenly the laundry didn't smell like anything. But it took only a few weeks and I got used to it so much. So if I would use a laundry detergent with a scent, I would actually nowadays find it even too much. So, and the thing is, when I fill the bag with the soap nuts, I don't have to dispose of them afterwards immediately. I usually use the baggie with the soap nuts at least 3 times for my laundry. And when I'm done, I simply open the bag and dispose these into organic trash. But that's not the only way how to wash your laundry ecologically. You can use ivy leaves or chestnuts. For example, I have a video about that on my DIY channel, so I will link it down below. The next area where we can easily reduce waste is household cleaners. So for example, I love cleaning our sink with simply baking soda. It's so easy and I get the best results. You could also make your own household cleaner. You guessed it, I have a tutorial for that on my DIY channel. It's vinegar based and it's just so wonderful, and it reduces so much the amount of household cleaners that I would regularly use. And the last thing that I think is worth mentioning for today is reducing microplastic. That goes for cosmetics and for clothing. Sadly, so many fabrics contain microplastic, and I am just as guilty of using them just as anyone else. I love cotton with a little bit of spandex because it's a little bit firmer and stretchy, but let's be honest, it's not the best for the environment. When it comes to cosmetics, I think I got over the years so much better there, but it's really important to check the ingredients, whether it contains microplastic, and if it does, simply don't use it. There are so many other brands. I think I'm gonna leave it at that because this video has been already so long. If you want to share with us any additional ideas about how to reduce waste, please write that in the comments, and you can also let us know what of the things that I listed today you already incorporated. Is there anything you're struggling with, or was there anything that was super easy for you? I love to hear from you guys. So thank you all so much for watching. I love you guys so much and see you soon. Bye!